So we're going to be talking about the panel. We're going to be talking about the panel in detail here, or as much detail as we can. And we're going to be talking about some of the video stuff that we made afterwards, and a couple of the good, really fun moments from the panel that came up. Not all of them involving Marina Sirtis, but some of the stuff involving Lore and I'm sorry, not Lore. Brent Spiner. I don't even know anymore. The guy is the same person.
Same guy. Yeah.
Frakes, and of course our Terry Matalas. So, here is the panel.
I actually have a lot of notes on this since I basically typed verbatim everything that happened. So we can
did you
go
really?
through it. I did. Yeah.
But I find it funny that like every single one of these panel videos has him doing this. It starts off with this. Just him just like furiously scratching his head at the start of the panel. Talk about a poor choice. Like I think he should have waited to scratch his head until his camera wasn't trained directly on his face.
Yeah, it's funny. He didn't think he was being filmed 100%. But the people that actually filmed this were Popverse, I think, right?
Right, which people thought that it was us, by the way. And I can understand the confusion. We're the Popcast. They're the Popverse. And at some point, one of us is going to get so big, we're going to buy the other. So,
okay, fair enough. We're coming for you, Popverse.
We're coming for you guys.
So this guy's making the introductions, right?
Mm-hmm. Give it up for Brent Spiner.
And everybody comes out.
And the myth, the legend.
There they are, all hugging. Look at Marina over there. She's like,
Patrick Stewart.
yeah, I don't know what to do.
Full of piss and vinegar. You blokes.
Now, earlier in the previous panel, Patrick Stewart was holding the mic upside down. So yeah, go ahead.
Right. I'm sorry. You go ahead. I was about to laugh, but
yeah. So it was a previous one. I think it was Entertainment Weekly or Entertainment Tonight or something, and they were doing a panel with them all together. And Patrick Stewart's like talking into the microphone with it upside down, and then Marina just reaches over and goes, and like flips it around, like something she's like always dealing with. Right, which is kind of funny. And then Frakes like drops the F-bomb.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That previous interview was more raw for sure.
Yeah.
But less information.
This is a moment. Talk to me about getting together finally. This has been thought about.
So you playing the audio
about
too?
by fans for years.
Yeah.
When, we've seen
I'm raising it up higher and lower as they say something important. Or as you're talking.
What's it like to,
I don't
to be part of Star Trek Picard now?
Yeah, I can't hear it, so I don't know what's happening. But
we gotta fix that.
I know he's doing the introductions, right?
Remind me to fix that with you guys.
Yeah.
Joy, fun.
Okay, so this is when he's asking all the cast members, and I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time talking today. He's asking all the cast members how it felt doing this season. And Marina speaks up first, and she says, joy and fun.
Oh, yeah, he wants a word to describe how they feel about the season. I always hate this. I hate this exercise so much. Like, sentences were created, giving a word to describe it really gives nothing to it. What are you going to say? Sad and depressed.
I'm going to go with surreal.
It's dumb.
Right. It is dumb. No, one word, feelings, doesn't work. Especially when there's like 18 people there. Like, one person's going to say happy. The next person's going to be like, he took mine.
Well, Frakes even said something like, I'm going to go with like
surreal.
Actually, he's the one who said surreal and bizarre.
Right.
Yeah. Well, he's been directing for so long. It's like,
hell.
it's weird for him to act.
There we go. That's what I wanted.
Marina Service said hell. It was hell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, she is either tired of doing these panels, drunk or mad, or a small combination of all those things. Because
I don't think she's mad.
I've seen her in other interviews and stuff, and she's not this flamboyant.
I think she had a couple glasses of wine. That's got to be what it is, because she's just really loose with all of her comments.
Right.
She's talking like she's at a little dinner party with just these guys.
Right.
Kind of.
Right. She's talking like they're just having dinner at the Baldy's house.
Right. Oh, the rest of you are here. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, she did call him Baldy. She's like, I know you all like Baldy, but I don't, okay?
Swimming in a rainbow with thousands of...
All right. So
It's actually a pretty long video, so we'll just have to...
yeah, we're going to go through it. But, okay, so this is hilarious because Brent Spiner's take for the whiz... He was asked to describe it in one word. He said, swimming in a rainbow with thousands of naked cherubs.
That's right. That was good. Yeah. That was actually pretty funny. You never know what Spiner's going to say, man. He is an old man who has no governor whatsoever.
Yeah, zero. Yeah, he has zero governor. Yeah.
Old
Okay.
people are fun to listen to.
So speaking of which, the man, the myth himself, Patrick Stewart, basically said it was like
Patrick,
Coming home.
since
Coming
we
home,
are
yeah.
celebrating
and he's coming home.
Stop it. Stop with the Patrick Stewart stuff.
I'm telling you, I have become so good at doing Patrick Stewart impressions because I finally figured out his vocal pattern. And his vocal pattern is either he is thinking about every word and syllable in what he is saying, or he is out of breath. It's one of the two.
Yeah, you've almost got him and Obama have a lot in common. I can hear it in your voice.
Oh no! So I do such a good Obama impression that sometimes when I do other impressions, he starts to bleed
He
through.
gets in there. Yeah.
We're gonna fix the reception. I can't stop doing it. It's like when I was younger and I was in acting class and they were like, okay, so you're gonna play a Latino, and you're gonna be playing an Arab, and I'm like, great. Now that you said Arab, that's all I can think of. I can't think of any other accent. All right. The rest of this,
So I wasn't sure, but
you want to give the
Yeah,
highlights here?
It's just kind of like, okay, so they go on to ask a bunch of questions. Essentially, there's not a whole lot here in the beginning. Oh, we've already passed the trailer, it looks like. Yes. So Terry's going to come in and kind of describe, and that's Terry Matalas if you guys haven't seen him.
Shane, the Terry Matalas.
The Terry Matalas.
Come on.
Got it. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so he basically comes in and he says lore, and now lore and Moriarty are in it, and now you got Spiner here going, lore? Am I playing lore? And this is kind of where the whole they start giving away things. The one thing that this panel, it must be frustrating to be Terry. My only guess is that he's a showrunner who doesn't want anybody to know what's happened, and yet his actors are constantly giving things away.
Yeah, nonstop.
Tell more in the trailer, guys. I know we can't do the trailer, right?
We can show our video.
Okay. No, we can't. You can't show the trailer though.
No, but we can show the section of our video where you break it down. That's already been cleared copyright wise. If you want,
that's true. I mean, I don't know if we should probably show that so we can talk about the panel. Some people, I don't know if they. I mean, I'm assuming everybody's seen it, but maybe we should show it really quick.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, basically what happens is they go through this beginning,
the earth,
and then.
All right, you want to break it? You want to let yourself break down the trailer real quick?
Yeah, I'm not going to do the trailer. What is it? It's not very long, right?
No, it's not very long. So this is what happens in the trailer. We can't show the trailer without getting claimed, but we already made this, and this has already been cleared.
Trailer begins with Picard receiving a distress call from Beverly, who she says is being hunted. Picard tells 7 of 9 we must run, and 7 of 9 says,
from what?
With this, we get our first look at the anticipated villain for Season 3, played by Amanda Plummer, who is best known for her roles in Pulp Fiction and The Fisher King. She's playing Vadic, who not only has a bone to pick with the Federation, but with Jean-Luc as well.
Jean-Luc Picard.
We see her taunting Picard and heavily attacking his vessel. Worf apparently now prefers pacifism to combat.
I now prefer pacifism to combat.
We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die.
And Beverly will insist Picard's life is at risk.
Attempts on your life.
We have a young LaForge at the helm, and Deanna senses an
All-consuming darkness.
And then, as if from beyond the grave, one of TNG's favorite villains raises his head, and it's the hologram Professor James Moriarty, played by fan favorite Daniel Davis.
Greetings, old friend.
Oh my God, when that
And
happened,
just
I
when you
lost
thought
it.
all the excitement was over, the credits roll, but there is one more scene. The familiar face
And then I lost it a second time, and it happened so quickly. I thought I couldn't breathe.
of
I
Data
know, right?
strolls onto the screen, but instead of looking young and inquisitive, he is old and scowling. Geordi whispers, "Lore," and then there are suddenly a whole
That's exactly how I felt right
Such
there.
a great clip. Such a great insert.
Yeah, so that's the trailer basically, as broken down by the illustrious Shane.
Thank you. And Brian.
I mean, I broke it down visually, but he broke it down.
Yes.
You know.
You did a really good job of getting a lot of Amanda Plummer in that, because there's
Yeah.
only like 2 seconds of her combined.
Yep.
And you really stretched that out. That was
God bless artificial intelligence, because I used my one of my computers with an AI model to artificially add about 100 FPS to every one of those clips.
good. Awesome.
Yeah,
So
took me
basically-
hours, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, man. So after that, the panel then came back and they started talking about it. And of course, so we had Spiner talking about Lore, and because we see Lore, but we don't really know how Lore is there. Now, our minds automatically start wandering. And I guess we're going to talk more about Lore here in a little bit, right?
Yeah. So we were gonna have a completely different, like a completely section about a section on that, because there's so much to get into. And I do have the portion of that panel where they are joking about it or whatever. So we should probably wait for that. But there was a moment in the panel when, you know what, we'll show that, but we'll just go into more discussion, because we also have information that's not in the panel, and we didn't put in our video because we didn't know if we should. I
the
guess.
Shrike.
But
yeah.
there's a lot to unpack there, to be fair.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I mean, we can just say they basically gave some things away in the panel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yes,
they gave
did.
some stuff away about Lore in the panel, and it's pretty obvious what happens. Yeah.
Right. You want to?
Oh.
So we'll play. Let me play this. Let me play the what they say. Here we go. This is what they say.
Exchange during the New York panel between Jonathan Frakes and Spiner.
So you're Lore, and you're back as Lore, just to catch you up.
Am I?
Yeah.
Are you? Before Lore? Yeah. Before Lore. Before Lore. There was before. Before is not in it. Lore is in it. Lore is in it in a very complicated way. Which
Yes, so be
Yeah. So
So they're giving stuff away, but look, the fans love it, so that's great.
sure. Yeah. So basically, and we're going to talk about this a little, in a couple stories here, but there's a lot more to the Lore reveal than what was shown here.
Yes, a lot more coming. Then they go on to, let's see, after that, they go from Lore, then they go to, if you can pull it back up on the screen for me.
Yes, sir.
Again, surreal is the word, perhaps. What's it like to see these folks gathered again?
So, was my Star Trek. I grew up.
Oh, then you got Rod Roddenberry, like talking about, you guys, I was a kid. I was on the set at 10. I'm like 10 years old, and I'm like a little boy. This is a little boy's perspective, and it's like home for me, guys. It's like home. I'm like,
Can I ask
you
you
were
a
not
question?
paying any attention to none of that stuff going on.
What does, and I'm not throwing shade here. I'm not.
I kind of was.
I just really want to know, aside from sharing the last name with Roddenberry, like, what does he do?
Can you pause this? I'm sorry. You got to pause this.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Is he a producer?
Yeah. He's an executive producer on Picard
So,
and Strange New Worlds. I think he's just there. He's Roddenberry. He's a Roddenberry.
he's just
he's
he's a legacy. That's it.
He's a legacy guy. He's like, what would my dad think? Well, my dad would actually want a whiskey sour right now and probably be crying in the corner. No, I mean, honestly, that's kind of what the whole point is.
Then he would
know?
smack Marina Sirtis on the butt and say, "Get me one of those toots."
Well, what's hilarious here, I love what Marina says. She's like, "Hey, Rod," like she like interrupts everything he's doing. She's like, "Hey, you look at me, okay? You listen, your dad. Let me just tell you something about your dad right now. He was great at casting. I mean." It's like because she got picked for the show. He cast her, right?
Right. It was weird though. It was almost like she was like, "Okay, all right, Rod, shut up, Rod. The rest of us are talking." And who names themselves Rod Roddenberry?
Well, that's not his fault.
I know, but like his dad was like, "You know what's a good name? Rod Roddenberry."
But what's hilarious here is
Rod. Maybe he's just like, maybe every version of Star Trek should have a Roddenberry. Maybe that's why Discovery is so horrible, is because it didn't have a Roddenberry.
I mean, I'm sure Rod Roddenberry had something to do with that too. I'm just saying, I don't think Rod's doing anything other than going, yeah, my dad probably would like that. I mean, I don't know what else he would say. Like literally.
So like
maybe he gives more, and I just don't know that. He's like really good in front of the fans. Oh, we have a Roddenberry here on the panel.
The Roddenberry!
Yeah.
And
but
maybe
Marina here,
in 15 years, it's going to be like Rick Berman's kid. Right?
No, well, I don't know. You know, everybody's like down on Berman. Berman doesn't get the Roddenberry treatment.
No, yeah, I guess not.
You know,
Berman was a genius. I'm sorry.
Although Terry Matalas, you find out here in this panel that I guess I don't remember which one said it. I think maybe it would be LeVar Burton. Terry was using the term Bermanverse, like Whedonverse.
Oh, wow.
As Star Trek was like the Bermanverse. But look at what she's saying right here. Then she goes, Alex, come on, tell me, am I right here? Is it all about casting? Like 90% of the work is done if you cast the show right? And I'm like,
Alex, it's all about the casting, right?
90% of the work is done when you get the casting right? And we were Gene's children. They're his last children. He cast us. You know, and it's like, now listen, this makes a whole lot more sense when you realize that the panel before this, the one where they were cussing and doing kind of funny stuff, the girl who was hosting it is like, Marina and Gates, you know, what do you think about the new Star Trek? And, you know, didn't women didn't they get their place? And like, aren't women now more important to the show and coming forward? And now they're so important to what's happening in Star Trek. And then Marina just looks at her dead serious and goes, you assume that we're watching it. I'm just like, oh my God.
Deadpan, serious expression. Yeah.
I know. And like, nobody knows what to say after that because it's like, well, she's obviously not watching New Trek.
Right.
So that was hilarious.
That was really funny.
Great moments here. Great panel.
Yeah. No, a lot of good stuff. And you know what? Marina Sirtis, and Gates McFadden look really great for their age. Like last time we saw them, I felt like they were like really old. And then it's almost as like, I don't know what it is. Like maybe because they're working again, they have so much more like vigor in life. That goes for Frakes too, Michael Dorn. Like everyone basically except for Patrick Stewart looks a lot younger than the last time we saw them.
But even Patrick Stewart has more like activity, vigor. Like there's definitely some adrenaline on this panel today.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, there is. But also, Frakes also lost a ton of weight. Like a ton of weight.
You don't want to look fat on camera, bro.
Well, because if you look at Picard season 2, him and Marina in their cameos. I'm sorry, season 1. Thank you. Yeah. Their cameos looking like they're eating a lot of that backyard pizza, and I'm not throwing any shade. I look like I do eat a lot of backyard pizza. But
we eat a couple of those backyard pizzas.
But now that he did as an actual regular role for like an entire season, you could tell he's toned up big time.
Yeah.
And Marina.
Hey, not looking big on screen is a big motivation.
Yeah. And that's my motivation every time I rewatch one of our Thursday shows, but then I don't do it. So
that's good. Terry here is saying basically like these guys knew their characters. What you guys don't realize is that Terry went to bat for the show. If you haven't heard us say it before, like he wanted to do season 3 of Picard different than the first 2 seasons. And he went to Patrick Stewart because Patrick Stewart had to sign off on it. and he
Right.
talked him into it.
Right.
And then Kurtzman jumps in here because he wants to run this narrative. You can tell he wants to control this narrative.
Yeah,
'Cause it's a
Kurtzman.
very slippery slope.
Stop, though, Kurtzman. Stop.
He probably should stop, but he's afraid they're going to say the wrong thing because they might.
Right.
You know, there's some potential not greatness around this, like saying that Picard seasons 1 and 2 were a mistake could easily happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Even if like narratively they probably, I mean, for us they were. I mean, they didn't work. Picard season 1 certainly didn't work. Picard season 2 had a lot of promise, but just didn't land. Didn't hit the landing. We've talked about this before, but I believe that Alex Kurtzman is probably not as bad as a lot of people make him out to be. And that the right thing for him to do to keep his job is to stop showing up on camera. Just like stay in the office and sign checks, bro, and like let other people do the work.
I don't think. I think a lot of people think like he's a mastermind.
He's not.
But he's not. He's more of like a guy just kind of holding everything together, and he kind of I think goes with directions that people push him really hard in.
Right.
Like the reason we have Strange New Worlds is really Akiva Goldsman pushed the heck out of that. And then they ended up because Akiva Goldsman wanted that. They managed to get in Discovery season 2. They managed to get this Captain of the Enterprise,
Anson
Mount. They managed to get Pike on that, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, boom, yeah, we got to have Strange New Worlds. So I don't think Alex is so much of a mastermind as he is like what does everybody think here, and like which way should we go? And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm just saying like you guys probably should stop giving him so much credit for creating most of this stuff.
Yeah, too many. I believe that we give him too much credit. Like, and when I say we, I'm referring to like our community here. Everyone goes like, "Oh, it's Kurtzman Trek," and I'm like, "Well, I mean, I don't know if that's accurate.
his name's
actually,
on it, but
his name's on it, but there's
like Terry Matalas is Picard season 3, and if it's good or bad, that's going to be on him.
Right.
It has nothing to do with Kurtzman.
Yeah, Matalas is the mastermind. He wove the tapestry that is Picard season 3.
Yeah,
Alex Kurtzman signs checks. That's it.
And Picard could have been anything that Patrick Stewart wanted it to be. Kurtzman and those guys went to Stewart saying, we want to do a Picard show. And Patrick Stewart said, pound sand. And they're like, well, you haven't even heard our pitch yet. He's like, pound sand anyways. And then finally, like, he's like, okay, well, let me hear your pitch. And so do you think those, after getting input, like, I don't want to just do Star Trek the way it was done before. Don't you think they went and like wrote, which they did. He actually went and wrote, he wrote up a thing, like a pre-script,
right?
A treatment, wrote it up quickly for Patrick Stewart based on what Patrick Stewart told him he wanted.
Right.
Which was not TNG.
Yeah, he literally, and we have a video that you guys have probably seen. It has a couple 100,000 views. Look, he didn't want TNG. One of his is this the right word? Prerequisite? Is that like
prerequisite? Yeah.
Yeah. So one of his stipulations to coming back as this character was no TNG.
Yeah. Right.
I
Doom said it
only
right.
want
Robert Orsai.
Picard in the series Picard. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. Doomed said the right thing here. Robert Orsai was the Star Trek fan between Kurtzman. They were a writing team,
right?
Robert Orsai and Kurtzman.
And Orsai wrote that show Limitless, which I actually like a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, anyway, so the point is that Patrick Stewart had a lot of control over where the show was going, and until Terry Matalas like stepped up and said, "Hey, look, we really got to get the TNG crew back." This, I don't know if Terry's saying it's not going well. I'm sure he's a lot more diplomatic than that. But
no, more than likely, this is what he did. He probably goes, I think Terry Matalas is a good storyteller. And he probably went, to
Enterprise. He is.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so let me rephrase that. Terry Matalas is a good storyteller.
Right.
But he also might be a good storyteller in person. He might have gone to Picard and be like, look, this is my idea. It's going to celebrate this character. It's going to put a button on your legacy. Because, by the way, Patrick Stewart has used that word like 3 or 4 times in interviews now. He's going to put a button on your legacy. It's going to tie everything together. It's going to be this epic adventure where you can step out and finalize this character, right? And if you sell it right, and then you pitch the story that has some of those elements, I believe that you can tell a story and sell it at the same time. And he probably just got Patrick Stewart to be like, yeah, that's a great idea. Instead of leading with, okay, we're going to bring back the whole cast. No. That's not how you sell Patrick Stewart. The way you sell him is you sell him, and then you sell the elements and why the old cast is required. That's how you sell Patrick Stewart.
I think so. And Patrick admits that he wasn't even on board. He talks about it in this panel. He even wasn't really super on board with it. But then he started, I'm not sure how to take this comment. He said, then he saw how much his friends needed it. Right.
Oh.
And then he says that, which is not cool, kind of like saying they really needed it. I mean, he's already a star of his own show.
Have you seen Marina Sirtis? She wasn't working. Okay.
And how
she couldn't afford her mortgage. She needed a job.
Kind of, that's what it seemed like.
It sounded like that, yeah.
And then he says, and how well it was working. So not only did they come back, they needed it. He could see they needed it, but also that it was going well, because Terry's rocking this thing. And they all, if you notice, the one thing on this panel that you guys know, almost every one of these guys here, most of them, like, are directly giving Terry Matalas credit for them even being on the show. Like, they all say it. Gates says it, LeVar says it, Marina says it. I mean, at least 3 or 4 of them say, if it wasn't for Terry Matalas, this wouldn't have happened. So
right.
If it's good, guys, if this is good, and let me tell you, if it's, I mean, everything we know, it sure feels like it's going to be good. That guy's got to get the credit for it. And then we need Terry to do more Star Trek, do something new, something that we haven't already regurgitated, and let him go crazy in a new direction with Star Trek.
Yes, and for everyone that's going to watch this clip afterwards that doesn't know who we are and they've never seen this video, never seen other videos, we actually know a ton about season 3. And in Shane's words, I think I know too much about season 3.
Yeah, probably. We're not going to have as much fun as you guys are.
We're not going to have as much fun as you are because we've already gotten a lot of the spoilers. In fact, we were surprised at some of the spoilers in the trailer because we're like, oh, they put that in the trailer.
Right. I think a lot of people, people who are in the know were a little surprised that trailer came out. I mean, you guys got to remember, like, there was nothing at San Diego Comic-Con, nothing. Yeah. Nothing on Star Trek Day. And then it was like, boom, New York Comic-Con. But maybe this was also the last opportunity to really blow this up.
Yeah, because it's 4 months away, right?
Yeah, it really worked. It was smart to do what they did.
Yeah. Like I said, I saw Moriarty and I was like, oh, they did it! They did it! And then it was like Picard season 3 and I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. Then it comes back on screen again and I'm like, what?
Chill. Yeah, right.
And what I know about lore, I'm like, what? They have them in the uniform and everything? What? Like, oh my God.
I love how some of these fans get up here and ask questions and they're like telling their own story. I got to tell you, like Star Trek saved my life. I was a teenager getting bullied in school.
Right.
And I watched you and felt better. And you could tell, like, all up on stage, you're like, yeah, that's good. It's like, what do you say to somebody who says that?
Yeah, right. Imagine that. Like, listen, without you doing what you're doing, I wouldn't have made it through high school. And you're like, huh.
I mean, it's possible.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but how do you respond to that? Like,
I don't. You
don't say that's good because it wasn't good. You don't say that's bad. It's like when someone says happy birthday, you're like, thanks. I don't.
Right.
There needs to be a response that, like, a general acceptable response to happy birthday. Because I always want to say back, well, happy birthday. Like,
I know, right? Well, hey, have a good day. You too.
You too.
Have a good meal. You too. Oh, wait, I just ordered the meal. Okay. No, you're right. Frakes actually had a really great comment about it because he said something to the effect of, hey, we're all family, blah, blah, blah. And he had some really nice words for it. But there were a few of those. There's this moment here. I think they're talking about it now. Oh, this is where Spiner's like, oh, can I get a series? You just tell, like, the energy was, like, really.
Yeah. And Jordan really LaForge, you get a series, and you get a series, and you get a series. And by the way, there might be a reason he's saying, can I get a series?
Well, obviously they want that to happen.
No, but there might be like an in-canon reason he's getting a series. I'm just saying.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's not saying he's getting a series.
He's not saying that. He's not saying that. But let's just say it's a possibility.
Well, I'll tell you this. They did give away something else that we haven't talked about yet. The fact that they all want a series, and the fact that Picard's like, or Stewart's like, we'll do a movie. Does anybody die in season 3?
Bingo!
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something to consider, because now, a lot of this going on, and now we've been talking about it. Somebody get killed, and then Terry kind of came out and said, I didn't say anybody was going to die, but maybe they're in danger. So I'm like, oh, okay. Because that person got really upset.
That person got so upset. And I actually feel really bad about my previous comments on that person. Because I said that person is probably overly sensitive and couldn't function in real life. Like, they couldn't even drive to work and deal with the pressures of having to deal with other people on the road because they're so sensitive and they might need mental help. I said all that. And I still mean all that. I don't like, in no way am I taking that back. It's a fact. And I feel bad that I didn't say that again, because you're too sensitive to live on this planet if you get upset by those words. I'm sorry.
Well, and if you are upset about it, I don't know. I just say ignore people who...
I'm trying to be nice, but like, dude, he just said safety not guaranteed and someone lost their minds.
Yeah, for real.
What a silly notion. By the way, Gates McFadden is 73 years old. Maria Sirtis is 67 years old. Michael Dorn 69. Jonathan Frakes 70. So they're pretty much all in the 70-year-old club here.
Yeah,
and
they're all old.
Patrick Stewart looks like he's 113.
Gates looks good for 73, man.
No, she looks fantastic, actually. And you know how I feel about a handsome older woman.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I started your fetish.
No, but it's not a fantasy. Don't say a fetish.
I didn't say fantasy. I said fetish.
It's not a fetish. Okay. Stop. Don't make it weird. I'm just saying.
I'm not making it weird. It's you making it weird.
You called it a fetish. I'm saying.
Listen, I was with you in Las Vegas when we got near her booth, and I had to hold you back. You remember?
You didn't have to hold me back like I'm some like sexual deviant that couldn't control myself. No, who are you talking about right now? You're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about.
Her name is really hard to pronounce. Okay, but
the voice.
She has the voice like this. Her voice is very, very deep, very troubled.
She's a Star Trek girl.
She's from Star Trek. She's in Star Trek, the movies, the Kelvin movies.
Beyond, yeah.
Yeah, Beyond. And yeah, so this is who she's talking about. Just a heads up, y'all.
Oh yeah, green older woman Archmage. He's done.
Oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
All right. Her name is Shora Agulashalulu.
Good luck with that one.
I can't pronounce her name, but she's in her like late 80s or something, and she's absolutely stunning. Okay, so it's not. I applaud and I appreciate a handsome older woman because, and I guess this would apply to men too if I was attracted to men. But like, how much extra effort would it require when you're in your 70s and 80s to look?
I get it.
That good.
But I'm pretty sure you can't go meow you're just not allowed to do that.
I did not say meow. He keeps thinking that I said meow to the actress in Vegas. I didn't. No, that was a response. It was a bodily response I had. It wasn't my body made a noise, but it wasn't meow. It was just a noise that I couldn't control when she got up and greeted me. Okay.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I said we weren't going to bring this up again, and
God, she is so attractive, though. Like, oh my God!
Let the meltdown begin.
She is. If she put on green paint, that's it. It's over for me.
It's over.
It's over. Make that character an Orion, and it's done. I'm done.
Moving on to the panel. Were there there was a couple of interesting questions. Somebody asked Terry, would the baton be passed to the next generation, to like someone else?
Oh, yeah.
And Terry said, absolutely.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't say that. He said, definitely.
Oh, he said definitely.
It was one word. Absolutely. I know, because I had to re-engineer that word in the video.
You would probably know better.
Definitely.
So
he said it real deep and real in the mic. No other words. He was like, definitely.
It was like the bomb dropping thing.
Yes. Yes. I agree with Jeremy Snyder. Someone in Photoshop Gateman's fat as a female overwriting. Please. Please.
Don't do it, guys.
Do it.
Don't
do it. All right.
We don't need that, especially live.
I'm like,
this guy's funny. This guy's like,
I gotta take a break.
I didn't think I was ever gonna make it up here.
Yeah, oh yeah. This is the guy's like, I actually didn't think I would get this far.
I didn't have a question, but
I'm not even a fan of Star Trek. I'm in a Constantine coat. I was just thought that maybe this was the line for the bathroom. So
there's some crazy people. He's like, Patrick, I saw you and Ian at that thing about 8 years ago, and it's like Patrick Stewart's supposed to go, oh yeah, I remember you. Thanks.
Oh yeah, that guy that was talking like using their first names like he knew him. Yeah, I saw you and Ian, and they were hanging out with Steph. And listen, Steph is good. Like, what?
All right, this is the best part of the whole thing right here. I miss Carl Urban.
Because when we used to do panels, if we couldn't get Patrick because he was busy doing something.
So real quick setup. The guy asked the question like, if you can bring someone back into the Trek universe or whatever, and she said Carl Urban.
Oh,
is that what she said?
Want to be with us.
She doesn't know he's in the Trek universe already.
He's like, he plays one of the title characters of Star Trek. Yeah.
Oh, maybe you know what though? Maybe she thinks the movies are over. You know what I mean? Maybe she doesn't think he's going to come back.
No. She said Carl Urban from The Boys.
She did say from The Boys. Let's get him over from The Boys.
She's on a Star Trek panel, and she's talking about Carl Urban from The Boys.
Right.
That's crazy.
I prefer that.
She's hot and bothered. She's like you and older women. Like for her and Carl.
I mean, to be fair, though, let's be real. Look at Carl Urban and that stubble. Like there are some individuals that just surpass sexuality.
Yeah, and he's one of them.
Carl Urban, Jason Momoa, they surpass sexuality.
Got it.
They just do.
Yeah.
Much nicer to look at.
That's not
he's much nicer to look at than old Baldy.
I know you all fancy old Baldy.
Oh,
but
I know
don't.
you guys love old Baldy, but I don't.
I don't love this old fart. Where's Carl Urban? Carl Urban, would you like those?
You see Carl Urban in the corner going, oh, God, she's calling me again.
Oh, my God. I was...
Okay.
She likes those Kiwis.
So if Carl Urban ever goes missing, then we need to check Marina Sirtis's basement for a tied up in a Carl Urban in a GIMP costume.
Thank you.
But anyway, that's who I would have back.
That's who I would have back.
It's a true family. This is what
Carl
families
Urban.
do, guys, right?
So
the
announcer is like trying to like smooth it over the fact that she basically just said Patrick Stewart sucks.
Yeah, she wants to like molest Carl Urban.
Yeah, she's like, it's a true family, guys. That's what families do, right? Yeah, families. This is normal. This is normal.
Yeah.
Everyone
Incest
relax.
You know how it is. It's all good.
Because people, when she said to replace Patrick Stewart, people were like, oh.
Oh, calm down. But there is one other thing.
More
I think
question.
we
Yes,
missed
please.
it already, but they talk about actually.
This is the guy who says I didn't think he would make it this far.
Was that the guy? I didn't think I was going to make it.
So he's dressed up as Constantine. He's dressed up as Constantine. He has the Constantine outfit on, right?
Right.
He's like, yeah, I didn't think I was going to make it this far.
You know what's funny is all I can think about is the guy standing behind him, knowing he's not going to ask a question, but is too embarrassed to go sit down.
Right.
I watched him the whole way. He's like, oh, hey, I got a picture of you, Patrick. Look at, he's like, I got a picture of you, Patrick. Like, he like waved at him and stuff. He's like, I'm never getting to that microphone.
And the guy that stumbled into the panel got up there first.
Got up there first, right? The guy behind him with like the actual like stuff.
And then he asked, what can I do to be a better actor?
Dumb
So
question.
he wasn't even asking a Star Trek question. He's asking about they picked the wrong person. That's it.
He's never seen Star Trek. He doesn't even know.
He doesn't even know. Like, is this the
like
Constantine
DC
panel?
But there is one other thing we got to point out in here, and that's Frakes gives away that him and Patrick Stewart, so him and Jean-Luc, are going to have a major disagreement. And he prefaced it by saying that Gene Roddenberry wouldn't like what's about to happen.
Oh, and that's because Gene Roddenberry had that rule that like
He didn't want conflict.
there couldn't be conflict inside the crew.
Right. And there's going to be, and they called it like, Terry Matalas called it like like Crimson Tide level conflict.
Yeah, the movie with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington.
Yeah, where they're like trying to decide whether to launch a nuclear missile and destroy the entire world.
Right.
So I was like, wow, that's like a really interesting.
Well, no, it wasn't destroy the entire world. Like the argument was that it could destroy it could start a chain reaction, right?
Yeah, if they weren't supposed to launch and Gene launched the missiles, then World War III would start, with nukes.
Right.
And Denzel was trying. So who's Denzel and who's Gene Hackman?
Yeah, which one is like reasonable? And which one is like full of rage,
We're going to find out.
You know what's really great about that movie is what an amazing premise. Like, that has probably happened at some point where the nuclear subs like had to like verify an order, and what happens if they couldn't?
They're supposed to go with their last order.
Right. So I was in the military, and I think I made about $4 an hour when I was in the military. So if that's the case, if there's some poor dude that's like 26 years old and he's making like $5 an hour and he gets an order to launch a nuke or something crazy, like, I feel like that is a really poor situation, and that it's a lot more possible than I think people realize.
Well, it's not anymore. So that no longer exists. I don't think any longer. I was on a submarine for actually 3 days once, submarines are not great places to hang out. Very, very cramped and small. By the way,
it takes a special person to live on one for like months.
You don't want to be a big guy on a submarine. It's just not good.
Right.
But essentially, when they would go up and get that EAS message, right, they tried to get it. What Denzel Washington said was like the best. There's redundancy. So Gene Hackman kept saying like, well, you don't know if all the other subs have been taken out. All I know is Gene Hackman really wanted to launch a nuclear missile.
He really did. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that would happen again. But
hope not.
This panel was great. I mean, I enjoyed thoroughly. I mean, everything from reading rainbows, we got
they call them rainbow heads.
Rainbow heads, which I had never heard that before.
Didn't know that was a term.
Yeah, and I didn't watch Reading Rainbow. I think I was too old for that.
I wasn't.
It was in your demographic?
It was. I wasn't a fan. Like
I was like The Electric Company with Morgan Freeman.
So the problem is I watched TNG before Reading Rainbow. And then when I was in that age group, I had already seen TNG, and I'm like, what the hell is LaForge doing on this kids show?
That's funny.
Like, it threw me off, actually. So I ended up not liking Reading Rainbow. So that 18 times.
They do make a joke on that panel about the Star Trek 4 movie, and Frakes says something like, well, there's an opening right now. And Patrick Stewart didn't get it at all. Like, they had this moment where Patrick Stewart's like, we'd like to do a movie. And Frakes says, well, there's an opening right now. And Patrick Stewart's like, well, that's what's holding him up. And then everybody realized that nobody knows what the hell he's talking about.
Right.
Frakes is like, he's like trying to clean it up for him. Like, you're trying to clean it up for the old, I get it. Like, he has no idea. What do you mean? Star Trek 4? What? We just want to make a movie.
Right. Season 3 is going to be amazing.
I only hear Obama.
I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on my Patrick Stewart impression. Michael Dorn, by the way, is so much more softly spoken than I thought he would be. Everyone else was screaming and yelling. He's like, Worf was on a journey, and you're like, can you speak up? And I was editing the audio for this, and I could not get his audio levels to be the same as everyone else because he was so softly spoken like this.
Well, so the good news is that he likes where Worf ends up, and that I think a good sign is all the actors seem to really like where their character is, and they're not like lying about it. You can tell they like are genuinely happy with what happens. So I hope that means we're going to be happy.
I'm sure we will.
All right,
very happy.
I think that's it for the panel, brother.
Yeah. All right, that's it for the panel.